Hi friends, today we're going to be looking at another Envy style. I have been finding myself reaching for Envy a lot more lately, and I was so impressed with the Sheena style that I tried here lately. I had to come back for more, and I wanted to try Joy. Look at the color here. This is Amaretto Cream. You've got this really deep brown swept with these warm kind of caramel ribbon highlights, and they are just beautifully placed all through the style. It's a medium to long length, which is great. You've got a lace front here and a mono part. So you're gonna have a very natural looking part line. I don't know if you can see here, you can really see through that. So it just aids in a more natural look. And a basic wefted back, along with the ear tabs, and of course, straps for an adjustable fit. I did want to show you guys the color job on this before I put it on, because it might be more difficult once I get it on, but look at how you've got those deeper colors underneath of the more like highlighted fibers placed on top, which is what you find in salons. That's how generally you're getting your hair highlighted. They're gonna focus on the ears and up for highlights to lay on top of the underneath there, which is also generally why that's a more healthy area too on your hair. It's more protected. I just thought that was kind of a more natural touch that Envy added into this coloring here, which is beautiful. Let's go ahead and get her on. You know, sometimes when I'm putting on a new style and I can't quite figure out where to go, find the ear tabs, and then that's going to guide where you need to place it. I will say this cap is rather petite, so it is kind of erring on the smaller side as opposed to like a true average or above. So take note of that. I'm pretty average, err on the side of petite, and I am all the way forward here with no additional room, but I am covered. So here you have Miss Joy. Joy by Envy. Look at the coloring. I just think that is so beautiful. You do have quite a bit of permatease in here, which I like. It has to be done tastefully. I do feel it's done tastefully here in this style. And if you're unfamiliar with what permatease is, I actually have a little weft here to show you, and I hope you can see. But look at the very base of the way that fiber is placed, and you can kind of see how it's just roughed up a little bit. It's kind of like, looks almost like it's teased or backcombed, and then you go into that sleek fiber there. Once you have this permatease and you start layering them on top of each other, you're gonna get a great lift, almost just like you backcombed that root just a little bit. And it's done great in this style. You can see here where the lift kind of comes off the sides. This is very pretty. This is just a throw on and go style. This is straight out of the box. This hasn't been manipulated at all. I will say there's two things with this style that are not my favorite. The first one is just how dark the knots are on that fiber. I don't know if you can see that. And that's just because it is such a dark fiber and my skin is so fair. I just feel like it's more than usual being able to see those knots. So if I were gonna reorder Joy, I would go with a much lighter style. I just did a blonde in the Sheena, and it's got one of the best hairlines I've ever seen. So something to take note of if you're like me. Just wanted to show you that. I've also noticed that the lace on this one comes in quite a bit more than usual inside of the ear tab here. So I will probably end up trying to cut that. And then I would imagine, honestly, I could probably put like some makeup or maybe even a Sharpie and darken it a little bit, because that does carry some contrast there to make it noticeable. But again, because it does wear down, it's not really a big deal, but I wanted to show that to you guys because it does come down on both sides. And it's just something I noticed. Because really for me, the lace could stop here, but it carries into all the way to here. So just a little something to show you. Let's take a peek at the back, how it wears, because I know I showed it to you holding it, but let's look at it on. What do you think? It is 4.6 ounces, which interestingly, I actually would have thought it was more. Feels a little heavier. I don't know if it's just because of the style, but I would have guessed it to be closer to 6. So wears a little heavier. The cap is a little more petite. The knots are a little darker than I would like, and then the lace carried a little too far. But like I said, yeah, it's still a beautiful style. You look at it, you're not gonna notice those things. But this Amaretto Cream color is just so nice. My husband really likes these color blends. I'm more partial to blondes, and he really likes the dark caramel highlight styles. So there you have it, Envy's Joy. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.